it's Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast and vinyl channel. Coming up today, one of my special / rare pressing type videos, going to focus on some solo and basically outside Ozzy Zakk Wylde records coming right up. If you clicked on this video and you're a Zakk Wylde fan, you probably know he's had his hand in a lot of different type of stuff outside of Ozzy Osbourne. I will tell anybody who clicked on this video right off the bat that I'm not a Black Label Society guy. I have tried to listen to a lot of the different Black Label stuff. I had a lot of different metal records of all different subgenres of metal, and for whatever reason, as big of a fan as I am of the material that I'm going to showcase today, I just don't really, nothing catches my ear that Black Label has done so far. You know, I'm always open to it in the future, but for whatever reason, there's not been a lot that Black Label has done that has really been something that that caught my ear, and as of now, I have yet to purchase any of their LPs. I know they just did a career-spanning vinyl box set, which a lot of people were excited for, which is awesome. I'm not saying anything bad about Zakk's music and Black Label. It's just not for me. Having said that, before I get into the LPs that I am going to feature, as always, if this is your first time on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, thanks. Please make sure to leave a like if you are enjoying the video, and most important to me, get involved in the comment section, because that's what I want more than anything, is to have discussion about music. So, having said all of that, the records I'm going to focus on today are some of Zakk's mid-90s stuff that came out after his intent was to leave Ozzy Osbourne's solo band and kind of kick off in a couple other things. And by way of a longer story than we need to go into in this video right now, he did end up coming back time and again to work with Oz. But in the meantime, he did put out some fantastic records that I think are either underrated or could definitely use at least a little more love. And the first one out of the gate is 1994's Pride and Glory. And I really, really, really like a lot of what this album has to offer. Some people pretty much just classify it as classic Southern rock. You wouldn't be wrong if you said that. Very, very strong, like Allman Brothers, Skynyrd influence. But also there's a lot of the rock influence on it. I wouldn't go so far as to call anything I remember as metal or anything along those lines, but definitely a lot of bluesy Southern rock influence. As far as this LP goes, I only know of the one issue that's ever come out. I don't believe it's very rare, and I like it, and I don't. I do like that they put it in a gatefold, which is cool. It's got a lot of the original artwork that was in the original LP. Threw it in paper sleeves, which I still need to put in anti-static sleeves. And they threw it on like a almost bright green translucent vinyl. Both LPs look exactly the same. That's all fine and good. I did get a chance to spin this, and I found that the LP sounds fantastic. I didn't have any issues with like inner groove distortion or anything along those lines. Once I get a chance to properly take care of it, I'll make sure it gets in anti-static inner sleeves. But one thing that's interesting about this is that this was reissued on CD, and there was a second CD that was made available that has some really, really good covers that were only available as bonus tracks on the CD set. Fantastic version of Come Together, In My Time of Dying, a great version of The Wizard, the Black Sabbath classic The Wizard. So this is a long shot, but someday I would love to see this record get like some sort of deluxe vinyl reissue. Because it's in a gatefold, you're already getting it on 2 LPs, and everything that was on the original CD is included in this record. Or over the 2 LPs rather, and that's great. But even if they just release those covers as a standalone, it would be fantastic just to get those maybe on a Zakk rarity release or something. If you have heard this LP, or you're thinking about getting it on vinyl and you haven't heard those covers, as far as I'm aware, they're always available on streaming. Just look up Pride and Glory and then any of those cuts that I mentioned, The Wizard or In My Time of Dying, Come Together, and check out the covers because they're absolutely fantastic. Next 2 releases that I'm going to focus on are one that I love and one that I could take or leave, and That is Book of Shadows, Volume 1 and 2. Now, the Book of Shadows is a album that is almost universally revered by anybody who's a fan of Ozzy, and most certainly a fan of Zakk. This came out in 1996, and to my knowledge, Zakk was very against, years and years and years, he was very vocal and very against ever doing anything like it ever again. And we'll get to the Book of Shadows 2 that eventually did come about in 2016 in a little bit. But this is one of those records that from the day I started collecting vinyl, I said, I can't believe that Book of Shadows has never been on vinyl. And if somebody does it, they need to make sure to put it on 2 LPs so the music can spread out and sound better. And a company by the name of E1 Heavy finally issued this on a proper vinyl 2 LP set about a year ago. This video being shot in the middle of 2021. About a year ago, maybe 2, they put out a very, very, very limited release. I ended up missing out on it, and I've been in a state of despair ever since. And around the summer of 2021, they put out another very, very limited run of it. 500 copies, and I was able to snag one this time because the eBay aftermarket Discogs pricing on the original run was just outrageous. So I was able to grab this one, and I'm really, really, really stoked about it. As far as the actual pressing goes itself, again, the art direction on the original Book of Shadows album wasn't all that great, so they kind of just were working with what they could here, kind of take all the inserts from the original CD and throw it out over the gatefold. Same thing with the back cover, just the original open book with the track listing on it there. The LPs themselves are on a splatter vinyl, which is fine. I think a lot of times with splatter, you kind of get what you get. This one is way, way, way heavily more black. I believe the original run of these that came out a year or 2 back leaned way more to the white side. I don't know if that's just so people could tell them better apart, if they have the same UPC code and so on. I do know when I went to scan this into Discogs that it came up as the original pressing, and there's been some debate between people if there should be 1 or 2 entries into Discogs, so I don't have a horse in that race. As far as this album goes, though, definitely southern rock. There's singer-songwriter aspects to it. You can hear the Elton John, Cat Stevens type influence in Zakk's writing. Some tracks do lean toward heavier, but even further away from what I would say a metal sound that you would find in a little bit of Pride and Glory. But some of my all-time favorite songs from the mid-90s are on this, Between Heaven and Hell, Way Beyond Empty, What You're Looking For, I Thank You Child. I mean, it's just a really, really, really fantastic solo effort, and I would have liked to have seen this be a lot more popular, but it definitely is a big record among Ozzy and Zakk fans, and I hope to see this continue to get future repressing so that more people can get a hold of it, even to casual fans who may have never even heard it. I would love that. So that brings us to 2016's Book of Shadows 2. Now, I try and be very positive in all my videos. I try not to come down on anything. And again, art's subjective anyways. So there may be someone watching this video who likes this album way, way, way more than I do. I think a lot of things came into play with this album for me. Everything that I'd read said Zakk was never going to go back to the well on this. And eventually he did, and I was open to it. But in addition to that, there's, I believe, the nostalgia of having heard the original for so many years. It's hard to get used to a lot of songs that all of a sudden are, supposed to be accepted as part of the set. So having said that, again, it's a gatefold. Not a lot going on here with the art direction. Very, very, very tiny lyrics on the inside. 2 LP set again. As far as I'm aware, all of them that are available are pressed on this marbled purple vinyl. If I'm being honest, I think that's just the final color that was available when the order went in. I don't think there's any significance to the marble purple vinyl for it. I don't believe there are any other colors out there, but if you happen to have one or know of a different pressing of it, by all means, leave it in the comments and let me know. For me, honestly, there's no real standout tracks on this bad boy. Nothing that I hate. It's just nothing that I ever reached for, and pretty much since 2016 when I've had it, I just wished that I had Book of Shadows 1 on vinyl. So to pull things back and get a little bit more positive, I would say, just for me personally, and again, light up the comment section if you totally disagree, and make sure other people know your opinion if you think a lot higher of Book of Shadows 2 than I do. But for me, I can't recommend these two enough. Pride and Glory should be pretty easy for you to find. As far as I'm aware, it's not any sort of rare on vinyl. Book of Shadows, the first one, might be a little bit harder to find, but either way, you could even stream all of or portions of both of these records, and you really wouldn't be doing yourself a disservice. So if you get a chance, if nothing else, definitely check out some of the covers that are not even on this vinyl version via streaming. Check out that version of Come Together I talked about by Pride and Glory, or even the version of The Wizard, and drop a comment and let me know what you think of those. As I always say, if this is your first time on the channel, thanks so much for taking the time to watch. If you could hit the subscribe button or the like button, or even share this video out, that would help the channel a great deal. If you don't feel like doing any of that stuff, I still appreciate you watching, and I would love it if you could get in the comment section below so we could have a discussion about either the Book of Shadows 2 or what you think of some of those tracks, or if you're going to take a listen to the Book of Shadows for the first time ever. All of that stuff aside, no matter what, I always appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for doing that today.